Hi everyone. So today we're going to have a YouTube episode version of my chats, and I found it helpful to come onto YouTube for a number of reasons. I myself have been spending a lot of time scrolling through YouTube and looking up stuff that will be very, very inspirational, such as how do you take care of yourself in a moment of time where you don't have the necessity to do so. In the past, when we went out to work, it kind of forced us to get up, to get dressed, to put on some makeup, to take care of ourselves, head out to work, then come home and do all our routine daily chores, such as take care of our children, cook dinner, do homework, go to bed. We had this structure, we had a set schedule that was set in place. Now, however, we no longer have that schedule. We lost our routine. It's kind of like this repetitive lifestyle, but all we do is spend most of it in our house. Although I enjoy every minute of it, such as working from the house, being able to spend more quality time with the children and the husband, after some time, we do need a little bit of change. We do need some sort of time for myself. So I found it very, very therapeutic to go through different YouTube videos and help inspire myself to still have the need to put on makeup to look good even though I am home. I also found it very helpful to go through other topics on YouTube, such as how do I organize my shelves when I'm home? How can I organize my closets? How do I cook something that I've never cooked before? And finally, the last thing that I found to be very, very helpful was how do I know that when things do open up, there's some sort of financial stability. Many of us right now are not working the way we were in the past. Thankfully, I'm still working because I'm in the medical field, but my husband was impacted by this. He works as a barber and he's not able to go to work because of the social quarantine and the lockdown of our country. And just like him, there are many, many other people right now who are unable to go to work. And when people are staying home and they're not able to go to work and not able to bring the same amount of money they once were making before, panic starts to strike in. Yes, we understand we have to have our faith in the one above and have trust that things will be better and things will get to be okay. We still feel a little bit of how are we going to manage all the debts that we're getting into, all those credit cards that we're swiping, all those bills that are piling up. What's going to be the next step? And instead of focusing on all the wrong things that are going right now, which we have no control over, we have no control over the fact that we're unable to work. It's not because we choose not to work, we're not able to because of the restrictions of the coronavirus. So what can we do that's going to be positive that is in our hands? And before I get to answer that, that's the reason I decided to make a YouTube video as opposed to a recording. I found it very, very therapeutic to watch a person on a screen rather than listen to the person, because I'm finally able to socialize in my own way by watching a person, because I haven't seen that many people around lately. So I found it very, very helpful, thinking if I'm also going to create a video as opposed to an audio, it's going to help you guys as well because you get to see a new face. And if I see this method is very, very people are interested in it, I will continue in the YouTube realm of things as opposed to audios. And back to the question I asked a minute ago. What do we do over that financial stress? So I was going through the videos and there was a couple of tips that I was able to land on that I want to share with you all. The first thing is set for yourself a goal. What is your goal once this quarantine is over and this pandemic resolves and we're going back on track and we go back to work and we make the same amount that we did in the past, hopefully? How are we able to get out of this debt and how can we still achieve our dreams and goals? Step number one is to make a list for yourself, is to make a list of priorities. What are some priorities that I have to live with? What are some expenses that I have to pay? That's going to be a list of, for example, my mortgage or my rent payment, my car payment, the utility bills, grocery shopping, money for gas, money for tuition. Those are some examples of things that we have to pay on a monthly basis. And then you have another list of secondary expenses. Those are things that happen from time to time, which are also important, but they are not as important as the list you just made a second ago. The secondary expenses are things like, there's a birthday this month, my child's birthday. That is very important. But I have it this month because my child, for example, is born in the month of April. My child is not born in May. So this month I will have my child's birthday as an expense I have for April, but not for May. In June, I may have my anniversary. That's another expense. I want to do something special for my anniversary. So you're going to create a secondary list for yourself of all those other things which you need to spend money on, but are not necessarily number one priorities. And finally, you're going to create a list for yourself which are going to be miscellaneous expenses, such as I have to get my nails done. As you can see, I haven't gotten my nails in a while, and this is my version of having my nails done, and I'm definitely not a pro at it. And it's chipped, and I have to erase it, and I have to repolish it. I have to do my eyebrows. I have to get a cleaning lady to help me clean the house. So all those miscellaneous expenses that we have to go through are expenses which we are not necessarily having to spend money on, but we choose to spend money on them. So with this pandemic and with the financial crisis that we are in right now, we may have to get rid of all those miscellaneous expenses for the time being. We may have to take a piece of paper and a pen and jot it down. I spend $120 on a cleaning lady every week. If I'm going to multiply that by 4, that's a $480 saving that I can have that month. I spend $30 on my nails every 2 weeks. If I add another $60 a month, I'm already up to $550 about. I go to a restaurant maybe twice a month and I spend $100 there. That's another $200. So if you're going to add up all those miscellaneous expenses, which are not crucial, those are things that we choose to spend money on, we're going to quickly add up to a nice penny. And when we start to make better financial decisions for the next few months, it may help us get out of this debt that we're in right now. It may rebuild our way of thinking, and we may actually notice after some time that all those things that we've been putting money away from were really things that are helping us reach our goal. For those of us that don't have a house and we want to buy a house, maybe if I continue the same lifestyle and I avoid all those unnecessary expenses, maybe I'm going to be able to save enough money over the next 2 years for a down payment. Maybe if I want to renovate my house, I'm going to be able to renovate my house in a year as opposed to 5 years if I don't put money away. So even though we're in this time period right now, which seems to be very, very dark and gloomy, and we find a lot of questions in our mind as to how are we going to get better? How is all this going to turn out for the best? Right now, we're not looking for anything that's going to become better. Things are just looking like they're going to get worse with the financial crisis. Instead of worrying about that and letting yourself stress over it, take the time that you have right now and educate yourself. Read material or books. Go out there and watch certain types of YouTube videos or any type of, go on Pinterest and look up organizational ideas, how to set a table nicely, how to cook sesame chicken, any recipe that you've wanted to try for such a long time, but you haven't been able to do it because you didn't have the time for it. This is the time to be able to get for yourself something new, a new hobby. And then this quarantine business is not going to be so negative after all. I hope you found this video to be helpful. I'm looking forward to doing more Bezrat Hashem with God's help. Please subscribe, click that button below, hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I hope to see you soon.